Hello, Wordle. Oh, sorry. I was just doing my Wordle. Anyway, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at our final posters, at least of mine, while also moving into the first interview, as you can probably see from the thumbnail that I threw up. So, without further ado, let's get into our last two posters of this series. So to start, we have this binary or even just coding poster that I made, and this comes from our inspiration being this all green, just seeming like it's a glitch in the system kind of poster with text down here that I didn't even really bother to learn, a bunch of coordinates over on that side, and overall I just thought of coding from this and moved straight into the poster that I wanted to do. I initially found this picture of this anime girl and I thought that would be pretty cool to just throw on like an overlay, and I messed around with like filling in everything versus having it all be transparent. Ultimately I decided to go with like the hair being filled in, but then everything else kind of being transparent, just because I think it looks cool to not draw too much attention while still being the main body of everything. Speaking of body, that's what I also put as our main text here, being Winko typeface in the black font. So I chose this because that's just kind of like the brackets that you put your main body text into, or even like main body elements into when you're coding. So I decided to just have that to start again as just the body, make it super simple. And then in the background there, I honestly do forget what I put as the binary back there, but if you want to decipher that, go ahead. It might have just been crown design. I can be wrong, but I'm thinking that's probably what I did. Regardless, this all coming together, being the second to last poster that I had to do, I enjoyed making it. Again, just using that green that was already present was super easy. Maybe even think of the Matrix with like the black and green coding, or like just code flying on the screen. It made me kind of get that vibes. So I decided to run with that with my own twist. And of course I did that. Without spending too much time on kind of my posters, because the interview takes a while, we're just going to move on to the second one here. And for our last poster, I actually do remember being extremely busy at this time, juggling 2 jobs, and ultimately kind of just going between everything. I had this poster. I know I said that I was done with the horizontal posters, but apparently I had one more. And I know you guys saw this in the thumbnail a couple weeks ago, but here it is again. I did use it for a poster, just to be a photography poster, super simple. And I chose it because of the sunflower. I think the sunflower is super cool. I first took this picture for one of my photography classes. This flower had been on this piece of wood for pretty much ever in my local park. So finally being old enough and having a camera of my own, I kind of just went over and took a picture of it, and it's one of my favorite photos. It's super simple, but it still is just something that I can recognize very easily, know exactly where it is in the park. But like I said, not too much with this poster. It came from our inspiration being this super simple photography poster. I saw that smile. I had to do the smile of my own just to kind of emulate it a little bit. But that's going to be the final poster that I have for this as we move into the interview. I'll probably just see you guys after the interview. So see you in a little bit. All right, welcome to the first interview. Today we have here Hamza, one of my very good friends. He actually did posters 20, 24, and 28. And we're kind of going to be going through all 3 of them. So I hope you're ready for that. So to start, obviously here with 20, Hamza, hello, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's a good day. Weather's getting warmer.
Yeah, thank God. I'm so done with this really cold bullshit.
Me as well.
But for those who don't know, tell the people a little bit about what you're kind of doing.
Yeah, sure. I'm a student in the graphic communications department at NIU, and it's my last year here. So I'm wrapping up to get ready to graduate, and I'm excited for the future.
Yeah. And when I first texted you about this, what was your initial feeling?
Oh, I was so overwhelmed because, since projects are just so open for this, I think it just creates a harder approach. I'm just so used to working in like a guidelines are set, here are the criteria type of projects. And so coming to this project, being able to do whatever I wanted was like, oh, okay, well, let's make sure I'm just following the basics while also making it look interesting.
Yeah. I guess what was my explanation of kind of like, I know you've seen the stuff that I like did on TikTok. And like I was also bringing it up to you in Prithvi, like the first 2 years that I was doing it. But I guess my question is, in the way that I laid it out to you, did it make sense?
Okay,
I know you asked a lot of questions when it first happened.
I think it's just a me thing. I think I just love asking questions, especially when it comes to projects like these, because I want to make sure that I'm being as accurate as possible, but also I'm very dumb when it comes to, listening to directions. So I definitely did have to ask for clarification, because I was under the impression that I had to do like one for each day, and then you told me I could do 3, and I was like, wait, 3 each day?
3 a day.
I was like, okay. Yeah, it was definitely presented in a good way. That's nothing on you. I just always need clarification. I am just naturally someone that asks a lot of questions, especially when it comes to this.
Gotcha. I mean, it's very fair. I definitely want to refine how I kind of ask the question, because I can definitely see how it could be misinterpreted. It's just like, hey, I did this thing where I created a poster every day, and you're just like, okay. I was like, you want to do that too? And you're just kind of like,
I will say I remember you sent me a prompt, and it helped a lot. I like that.
Yeah, like, because how I wanted to structure it for those who would just be joining the project to do one poster, 1 through 3 posters. I set it up where I had those wheels, and you spun the wheel the first time, and you got your day. And that one, just like you rolled a 20, and I was just like, okay, is that all you want to do? And you're just like, no, I want to do 2 more. Yeah, that sounds good. And I was like, all right, then you can spin it twice more. And you got 24 and 28, which I thought was kind of funny, because you had just very equally spaced out days, 4 days apart, every poster that you did. So
it was perfect. It lined up so perfectly with like my schedule too. It was just perfect.
Yeah, because even just at least on my end, having the poster inspiration set out on those days already ready, I think also kind of helped, because you were like, do I have to pick my own inspiration? And I was just like, no, I have that ready for you. So I think in that aspect, it probably made it like a little bit easier and took a little bit stress off of you, just being like, oh, I just have to focus on this one thing.
Oh, 100%. I mean, since there were no guidelines, just that being the only set guideline was like perfect. At least I don't have to worry about an extra thing.
Yeah. Because, yeah, you were asking questions just like, do I have to follow anything specific? I was just like, no, that's the whole point of creativity. I'm just going to put something in front of you whatever you feel from this, do whatever you want. And you were just like, but that's not how I do it in school. And I was just like, no, I don't care.
Yeah, totally different. And I think it's important to try two different approaches as well. I'm so tired of just having to follow a set guideline, because then we don't create the stuff that we like. We just create stuff that fits a certain standard.
It falls within the curriculum, and you're just certain aspects that can really draw out like a latent potential in artists, other aspects that kind of like kills the full-blown freedom that some artists want and crave. But part of it is also useful in having those set deadlines from school, so you actually feel like you're getting stuff done. I think that's something that is still valuable.
100%. As art students, we just tend to lose track of time, and we also are very procrastinative. And so when we look at deadlines, we're like, I'll do it tomorrow, and then it ends up being like not done until the day of or something.
Yeah. Dude, oh my god, literally just being like, yeah, I got like my mood board done, I can wait.
And then all the final stuff is due tomorrow, and you're just like, shit.
You're just like,
That's
it's
actually
crunch
what I'm
time
facing right
and
now.
you're fucking up till like 2 a.m. just being like, well, I got it done. You walk into class,
Yeah.
like, hi teacher,
Yeah,
I finished my project.
That was me on Tuesday, man. Like that's literally what I'm experiencing right now. And so yeah, like random advice for people who are about to graduate soon or are doing like a capstone senior project: just fucking lock in, man. Set a schedule for yourself, else you're gonna end up like me.
It helps to have it blocked out, especially for senior projects. Because, I mean, if you get it done, it's the shit that your parent says. Just like, oh, if you get it done early, you won't have to worry about it later. It's just like, I know that's true, but fuck you.
Fuck, you're right.
But, so, okay, sorry about the long drawn-out intro. But, for your first poster here, I don't know if you can bring it up on your end to also just talk about it a little bit. Looking at your piece here, what was kind of at least coming off of the inspiration? Let me just drop that into here. Coming off of the inspiration here, what led you? What was your initial thought process?
So initially, when I look at inspiration, something that I always take first is the feeling that it gives me. And so when I look at inspiration like this, I think if I'm going to replicate this, I want to go for the feeling that this gives me. And when I see the black and the white and I see the halftone patterns, I think, okay, I'm going to replicate something similar, but something that's my own style. And so I also love working with patterns as well. And this was like a great way for me to kind of revisit making patterns in a visually interesting way, and pairing it with graphics. I also saw like the life in the inspiration, and I got like the kind of like the saying almost. If you look at this inspiration, you're thinking, oh, this looks like some type of saying or something that your parents would send you about, in general, just life or advice type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, what's a piece of advice that I can kind of talk about, but also illustrate in a way?
Yeah.
So I decided to go with Love Hurts because I just thought about life and how life can suck sometimes, and also, love can suck sometimes too.
Yeah.
And they both, suck in their own respect. So I decided to create like these little guns, re-vectorize them, and shoot hearts from them because, I guess love does hurt, and it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. But I chose this one.
Okay. And what was your choice with picking the revolvers there?
I also feel that when I look at a revolver, I think of it as an olden day gun, modern, like kind of like, not, I don't want to say modern, but Western movies have, the revolvers, and I think of saloons when I think of the olden days, and I was kind of trying to stay in that same time period because of this inspiration. And I also wanted to make sure that I could like reference something from the inspiration in my new project with this, because I was going for, you know, halftone, but it was colored, and I'm like, okay, we're kind of stepping it up in terms of contemporary patterns, and I also want to stay olden days. The revolver kind of fit super well. I think it wouldn't make sense to put a Glock 18 or something in there, because it's like, oh, this is like super like, oh, I could put this on a t-shirt and wear. I didn't want that feeling. I wanted like an older feeling to it.
Okay. Something that I also gleaned from this is like just from an observer perspective, kind of just showing the revolver, like it has only like 6 shots in a base revolver. So it's also showing that your love is limited. Like you only kind of get so many shots with it before you kind of have to either reload or you're kind of just done with it, kind of thing.
That's such an interesting way to think about it. I was not going for that, but I love that, like that when I can, you know, replicate art like this from inspiration, that it can kind of spark different perspectives about it. Because I think when you're designing, you're always thinking about you're always thinking so linearly, like how can I communicate this linearly to communicate what I want people to see, and then you end up creating a different perspective for so many people. That's the beauty of it. That's how you know your art works.
Yeah. Well, why did you kind of I can probably infer why you chose this specific color red, but why did you choose it?
Yeah, I mean, red because of, you know, love, obviously, in the heart is regarded as having that red color, but this one's a little bit deeper, and it's because of the hurting aspect. And like you may suspect, when somebody bleeds, the blood is generally darker, unless you're like super healthy and drink water all the time, then your blood is probably super vibrant red. But in this case, I wanted to go for a deeper red because I think in the movies, if somebody's shot or somebody's injured, the blood is a little bit more of a deeper red.
Right. And then with your use of the halftones, why did you choose a cascading halftone, and maybe like why did you put it at an angle?
The angle kind of creates like a different perspective for the viewer. I think that if I were to keep this oriented at like a straight angle, I think that it wouldn't have given off that same like dynamic effect. I think when I'm designing, I'm always thinking about how I can kind of add texture, but also create movement in a certain way. It was something that I was struggling with sophomore and junior year at NIU, is kind of creating a directional input for my audience, especially in things like publication design. Reading from left to right, you want to make sure that your designs are seamless for the audience, that you're kind of guiding their eyes from left to right or up or down, depends on whatever you're creating, whether it's like a poster or, you know, a magazine. But yeah, that the tilt, it kind of creates like a lot of dynamic effect. And as for the overall cascading effect itself, I was experimenting with different things, and this one seemed like right for some reason. I tried the pattern where it was a little bit more equal on the side as well as like not oriented. It just didn't feel right for this design. I think that since we have this flat vector and we have this flat text, we need something to kind of elevate it.
Okay. Just to act as like a juxtaposition to what your foreground is, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd say so. And it is hard to create a balance between like dynamic content and static content. But I think this helps me do that, especially with my senior project right now, like making sure that I'm guiding my viewers while they read my zines. while there's flat text on the zines, there's also going to be stuff moving around and interesting content for them to look at while they're reading about political issues.
All right. And I mean, for a first poster, how overall did you feel about getting this done and like getting ready for your next ones?
I was so pumped because after I got done, I was like, okay, what's the next prompt? And I was like, oh shit, I think I have like 4 more days until the next one. Even though I knew all my prompts, I was just so excited to go on and try the next one. But I think that the challenge really is doing it in a day and seeing like what you could come up with. And not to say that you could definitely like go in and do something before it's due, but there's fun in doing it in one day because it helps you meet deadlines. Like I'm always so used to being like, oh, this is so, it's kind of relating to what we were talking about before. Just like realizing that you have a lot of time to do something and then you're like, oh shit, and then you just do it in like 3 hours. And maybe I'm used to that approach. So yeah,
I mean that's very fair. That's I've already talked about with you and Prithvi, but like that's kind of the whole point of the challenge is to like you can look at it in the inspiration before, like I sent it to everyone who was participating before, and you guys got to all look at them, but you couldn't do anything about it. Like you can get all your thoughts together, but you can't take action until the day of. So just having that in mind, like you may have all these ideas and those ideas might change, but as soon as you start, like on that day, that's the only time that you have. And just, I'm sure you felt it, like you were saying you were pumped for the next one, but getting the thrill of being like, I made this in like a couple hours. I'm very happy with it. And it could even be something that like you've done way better than shit that you've done in school. And you're like, why the fuck did this come out now and not like during one of my projects? Just at least from my point of view, it makes me like super happy and excited to just do more.
Oh, 100%. Like once I get going, it's just hard for me to stop creating stuff. And especially with like personal projects too, since I don't have as much time to work on personal projects. When I do start them, I'm like, oh, I also want to do this, and then I want to do that. But definitely waiting until the day up to do it, like builds up anticipation. It also helps you kind of research what you want to do in a sense. You know, there's no in a sense it's kind of relieving because you're only worrying about the research method and not the like hands-on method. Yeah, it's definitely different. I really like it.
All right. Yeah, that I'm glad to know that you like it, because I get it just receiving this from you. I was just like, hell yeah, he's excited. This is looking good. Great first poster. I'm sure he's ready to knock the next one out of the park. And at least from my perspective, each poster that you submitted just got better, because I can tell you were getting comfortable with it and like developing new processes as you went along. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that first part of the interview. There is more that will be coming out next week for his next 2 posters, along with someone else. I hope you guys are ready for that, because everybody's posters that they submitted is amazing in their own right. So I hope you're ready for that. Besides that, that's really going to be all in this video. I hope you enjoyed pretty much all of year 3 on my end, and I hope you're ready for the couple posters that other people have submitted. But please keep coming back to see those interviews, because finding out people's creative processes is always a fun time. So yeah, that's really going to be it. Love you guys. Bye-bye.